But first, let's talk to Issam al Reis, the spokesperson for the Free Syrian Army Southern Front. He joins us now via Skype. Thank you for being with us. I want to ask you, first of all, about what exactly the FSA's involvement was in this attack, because we've been getting conflicting reports, some saying that most of it was being directed by Jabhat Fatah Hisham and other groups. Other reports don't mention the Free Syrian Army in this at all.
Well, first of all, this operation, the head of the operations room was Faylaq al-Rahman, which is a Free Syrian Army brigade. They have the higher number of the fighters. For Hayat Jabhat Fatah Hisham or Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, they are 10% of the fighters. There's no coordination. They get involved in the fight. They took the chance and get involved in the fight without, we can't stop them. So they fought on their front lines, and they are just, as I'm saying, they are just less than 10% of the total number of the fighters who launched the operation. This operation was led by Free Syrian Army Brigade, which is Faylaq al-Rahman, and they have the strongest existence there in Jobar and Qaboun. But it's a significant advance because it was a shock for the regime. We saw what we saw yesterday. We've never saw that since 5 years. Since the crisis cell attack. Yesterday, the regime disconnected all the communications and cut the internet. The Republican Guards was deployed in Damascus streets. There is some experts and Russian commanders left to Latakia, to Tahmimim air base, Russian air base. It's a clear message that they are worried from the fight to reach the capital. And it's a message for the international community and the world that a military solution and the victory which Assad is claiming is nonsense. There is no way for Assad to control all the country again, as he's claiming, because his army is weak. Without the Russians in the sky, without the militias, the Shia jihadist militias fighting on the behalf of Iran and Assad on the ground, Assad can't stop the attack, even in his motherland or in his headquarters and heart of the regime.
You said earlier this is a significant advance, this attack, but where do things stand right now territorially? Because the government has said that since then they have responded with counterattacks, and they have pushed opposition forces back from many of those areas, and specifically they say that the highway linking Jobar and El Qaboun is now fully under their control. What's your response to that?
First of all, I'm not surprised. The regime media yesterday said there's nothing happening in Damascus. So I'm not surprised if they are saying they made a counterattack. Actually, we left some tactical, we did some tactical movements without pressure. This is confirmed without pressure because this is an uncovered area. The highway wasn't our.
What do you mean by tactical movements? You mean your forces retreated?
No, we still have strategic points, have an access to the highway. The highway never was under our territory. I mean, there's no fighters on the highway. To understand the situation, now we are in points which can cover all the highway. The highway, we can cut the highway by fire. This is an uncovered area, so we can't stand there and keep our fighters there. But we were able to connect the two neighborhoods of Qaboun and Jobar for a long time, like all the daytime, and exchange fighters and resources. We gained a lot, lots of losses. The regime have over 75 soldiers killed, 3 of them very high-level commanders. We don't have this kind of casualties, much less. And as I told you, without pressure, we changed our movements. The operation didn't stop. It's continuing, but it's continuing on our timing. The regime is still in their chaos situation until now. We can tell from the movements they are trying to do. They couldn't believe what happened yesterday. Even its allies like Iranian militias now refilling the presence of the Russians who left to Latakia. So there's a chaos inside the capital, and also I think there's a clear political message. This is very important for Russia and Iran to understand that a military solution is impossible in Syria, and Assad is claiming a victory just because he believes they are standing with him. But as soon as the Russian warplanes will leave the Syria sky in Syria, I think all the things is able to change, and that's what we saw yesterday.
I appreciate you talking to us, Issam al Reis, spokesman for the Free Syrian Army. Thanks very much for being with us on Inside Story.